everybody, it's Kathy Champion and you're back in my craft room here at Random Acts of Crafting. So come on in and let's get to crafting. I thought today that I wanted to bring y'all this cute little cuckoo clock. This is one of Stampin' Up's stamp sets that comes with, also comes with a coordinating die. And let me show you what it looks like. Let me pull over a piece of white cardstock so that you can see it better. This is the stamp set, and you can see that I have played with this one quite a bit. So, and this right here is your die set. So as you can see, it's a very pulled together type set. You've got just about everything you need here to do all the little components of the clock. It has a little surprise because it has a little element, and that's what these little pieces are for, that allows the door of your cuckoo clock to open and shut so that your little birdie can peek out. And yes, we have a little birdie. The little birdie is right there. So I'm going to show you one of my samples that I did, and this is what it looks like. And then when you push up on there, you reveal your little birdie. How cute is that? And then you've got the little hands, and you put a brad in those and you can move them around. But you have options with your with that. Here's another one that I did, and this one was done a little bit different. Same concept. I didn't color my bird on that one. I colored the numbers on the clock a little different so they would stand out a little more. I did put a little bunny here because this one I was putting together the day before Easter, and I was just playing around because I always, anytime that I have a new stamp set, I like to kind of work it out before I bring it to y'all. So that was my attempt of just playing with it. And this one here, I was recording this one, and then I realized that I did not turn my mic back on after one of my pauses, so I didn't want to do a voiceover, so I decided, okay, just let me start over. So hey, it happens. But what I want to do today is I want to show you the elements of the stamp set. Now, if you do not want the dies, you can buy this separate, or you can buy it as a bundle and save 10%. So, you know, some people don't have die machines, so they wouldn't have a need for this. But if you fussy cut, you could definitely fussy cut this. The clock itself would not be hard to cut, and even some of these other pieces would not be hard to cut. First things first, let's go ahead and do all of our stamping, and then we'll do our die cutting. And then we can have fun putting this together. So, let me move my dies out of the way. We're going to put those over there. And I'm going to start out with this piece of craft colored cardstock. And I think the first thing I want to do is I want to stamp my little cuckoo clock. So to do that, goodness, my little thing is nasty here. Let me see if I can wipe this off. Give me just a second. I didn't realize the door to my Misty was so dirty. But it was probably from where I was stamping and didn't clean it off thoroughly. So that's okay. Let's wipe it down. All good to go. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to position this piece of cardstock right here in the bottom. I'll put a couple 3 magnets on it. And let's go ahead and pull off our cuckoo's clock. And let's position this right about here. And I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. I'm moving this over a little bit to make sure you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to use Memento on this, and we might have to stamp it twice. If I was doing the VersaFine, probably one stamp would be plenty. And who knows, I've used this stamp enough, I might have it conditioned where one might be enough. We'll see. We shall see. I'm just using the heel of my hand and I'm giving it nice, firm, even pressure. Yep, I need to ink it one more time. So let's ink it up again. I may have to re-ink this ink pad because I'm thinking it should ink better than this. And that's the good thing about our ink pads. You can, I don't know if y'all know this, but you can buy re-inkers and you can re-ink your ink pads. So that makes it nice. That makes your ink pads last a lot longer. And it's very inexpensive to do it that way because a little bottle of ink to re-ink this lasts a long time. Now that looks really pretty, so I'm glad I went through the trouble. And while we're talking about re-inking, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to pull out my re-inker. Me baby. Of course, my puppy dogs are under my feet as usual. And this is my Memento Tuxedo Black. This is what the little re-inkers look like. And all you do, it has like a little dropper on the top of it, and you just go through and just squeeze it and touch the ink down. It goes into the pad. Just like that. Just kind of scrub it on as you're pushing, squeezing the top of the bottle. And I'll do it about like that, and I'll let that soak in, and then I'll check it, and if it needs more, I will put more on it. Now, I did notice I got a little bit off the edge right here, so that I don't make a mess. I'm going to clean that up. And put the top on this, and we're just going to let it sit for a little bit. And then that should work really well for... I'm going to grab a clean microfiber cloth. I have a stack of them over here. They don't look clean, but these have definitely been washed. They're just stained. And I am going to take some of my Squeaky Clean. I am carrying the refill bottles along with this dispenser bottle in my shop now. So if you want to go over and pick up one of those at randomactsofcrafting.com, I'll have the link below. I do have a sale running now through the 19th, so it's a great time to pick up any items that you might have been needing. I've got a new line of British Monroe cardstock in with some new colors, and you might want to go over and check that out. Beautiful, beautiful cardstock. So... And I also got some embossing powders and some embossing ink that are British Monroe. Needless to say, my British Monroe order came in. I'm still waiting on my my Nuvo order and also my Echo Park. I ordered my Echo Park early April, and or maybe even the end of March. And I ordered some Easter paper. And it has not gotten here yet. So it says it's on its way. So, but maybe I'll have to stash that paper and we'll bring it back out next Easter. So, considering that Easter is now over. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and pull this stamp off because we are done with our cuckoo clock. And we're going to go ahead and stamp all of our other images before we proceed to die cutting. I think that'll make it a little easier. And I'm going to position this back where it belongs. And I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of white. I'm just going to lay my trimmer over here, and I'm going to cut this down into 5.5. And the reason I did that is I want this to be able to go through my die cut machine. So I thought this would be a good size. And it will fit in our Misty as well. So I'm just going to position this in here because we're going to load up all of our stamping on here, and then we'll be ready to take this to the die cut machine and hopefully be able to cut everything at once. Alright, so we're going to need the little pendulum. You know, I want the pendulum out of this. I think we're going to do the pendulum out of this one. So we'll go back and stamp that. I like that right there. I want the little door. That's our little door right there. Of course, we need our birdie. There's our little birdie. And we need the little round thing that goes, I want to position these out enough so that we have space to be able to cut them. So let's do that and that and that. And I need this little piece, but I'm going to bring it down because I want it to be all by itself like that. Maybe right there would work. And this is the piece that we're going to use that's the puller. This will be stamped on that little pulling element. Alright, is there anything else we want off of here? We got the pendulum. We've got I think this is good for right now. So let's go ahead and pick these items up. Position our paper back where it belongs in the corner. And let's see if we can ink up these pieces, and let's try our memento. Even though we inked it, let's see how it does. Oh yeah, look what re-inking did. It definitely needed to be re-inked. I wish I had done that before I stamped the cuckoo clock, but that's okay. We got a good image of the cuckoo clock. So those are done. So I am going to do the same thing I did. I'm going to go ahead and just grab a little bit of the squeaky clean, and I'm going to wipe those down. I could get my stamping chamois. I probably need to do that anyway. I'm just going to clear these off really quick. I really like to keep my stamps as clean as I can. It preserves your stamps. It makes them stamp better the next time. So I always try to take really good care of all of my little stamps. You know, when you purchase items like that, they're an investment, and anytime that I buy something that I consider an investment, I like to take really good care of it. And I definitely feel that way with any of my stamps, my dies, any of my tools that I use on a regular basis, my trimmers, my rulers, etc., etc. Y'all know how it is. You got to take good care of your stuff. Okay, little birdie goes down right there, and then this little guide goes right here. Alright. So I'm going to lay that over out of the way, and we are going to stamp that pendulum. So let's put this back in, just like that. And we're going to pick up the pendulum, and I am going to stamp it in the memento. And then we're going to move it over to this side. Just going to wipe it down a little bit so I don't get ink where I don't want it. And then I am going to lay it right here. And we're going to put the magnet on that side, and then we're going to pick it up. See, I did get a little bit of ink there. I hope that didn't mess it up. Hopefully not. Looks good. Good, good, good. Alright, so now I'm going to wipe this one off again. And then we can put him back on our stamp set. And then all of our stamps will be back in here. This is just one of my, I guess, idiosyncrasies that I do. I have lost stamps before by not putting them back onto the item where they belong. So, therefore, I make sure that I do that after I use a stamp. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is pull our dies over. So I am going to grab the dies, and I'm going to use some purple tape because I need these pieces to go down exactly where they need to go. The first thing I want to do is I want to concentrate on our cuckoo clock. So let's move this up. I am going to zoom y'all in just a little bit so you can see a little better. So I'm going to grab my cuckoo clock die, and I'm going to position him. And what you want to do anytime you're using Stampin' Up! Dies, you want to put this die down so that you do not see any white, or in this case, craft, outside of the image. And you know, this is something you need to take your time. Make sure you get it lined up. Once you get it lined up, hold it, and then use a piece of tape just to secure it down. And I am going to actually use two pieces. I'm going to put one on each side, just like that. And we can go ahead and cut one of the pendulums. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to position it over it. I'm going to wiggle it around until I don't, you know what, I'm going to have to cut the house first because that's too close on there. So let's cut the house first, and then we'll do the rest. But this little piece right here, this will cut, the only places this piece cuts is here and here. And if you notice, it has a heart shape here and one here. And what that does is fits right over top of the heart in the top and the bottom of this piece. So this will cut for our little slot. So just got to line up the hearts. Just like that. Once you get those hearts lined up, hold it, and then stick down a piece of tape, and that's good to go. So this piece is ready to go to our machine. I'm going to lay it over there. Now let's concentrate on this. We're going to need our door, but not only are we going to cut this door out of the where we stamped it, we're also going to cut one that wasn't stamped. And I will show you why when we start putting this together. But just remember to cut two of these. One stamped and one not stamped. So I'm going to get this positioned just like this. I'm hoping I can get this video up today, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not seeing it because we do not have internet right now. We had those terrible storms to roll through during the night, and it knocked out our internet. So when I don't have internet, I don't have TV or anything because we have YouTube TV, and I don't have any TV this morning. So I have not been able to check the news or the weather or anything. So we do have an antenna on the TV in the den, so I may go in there at some point and turn it on and have a little bit of noise in the house, if nothing else. Alright, I'm going to position this piece over here. I'm going to try to line this piece up here, but if I can't line it up, we will just cut it and then I'll stamp it afterwards. Alright, this is our little mechanism, and this is what we need to cut, is this piece right here, and it needs to run on this side down to the bottom somewhat, like that. So we're going to try that and hope it does, and if it doesn't, we'll just cut it off of somewhere else, and then we'll stamp it. The last little thing that we need to cut is the hands for the clock. And this is, I'm going to do it on a piece of black because I want the hands to my clock to be black. So we're ready to take this all to the machine. So I am going to lay everything over to the side, and I will be right back after I get these cut out. Alright, we are back and we got all of our pieces cut. This piece always just drops out because there's nothing really to hold it in, because this is just going to be a guide piece, and you'll see how that works in just a minute. Let's see if I can reposition the dies back where they belong. Well, for right now, you know what, we're just going to lay them over here, and we can reposition them after I finish with the video. That would probably be a good thing. Oh, I forgot to cut the other door. Let me go back and cut that one other door, and we'll be right back. I totally forgot about that I need to cut that twice. So let me finish getting the rest of these pieces off. There's our little pendulums. And here is the hands to our clock. And our little bird. And this is for the bottom of our pull tab. Alright, let me take this to the die machine, the die cut machine, and cut this, and then I'll be right back. Alright, I got that little door cut, and this is what that will look like without any anything on it, but you'll see why we need that extra little piece. Now this is our little mechanism, and we are going to need to fold this on that fold line. There's a fold line right there. And when you're stamping that, make sure you stamp it on the piece that goes straight down from this little mechanism, so that when you fold that back, this is what you'll see. Let's see that. So this piece right here just falls back. So we're going to crease that down really nice and tight, and then we're going to put some glue on it. And then we'll set that to the side and let it dry while we're coloring and taking care of some of this other stuff, the fun stuff. So I'm just going to hold it like this and run a bead of glue right there, just like that. And if you want to, you can put a paper clip on it, or you can just set a stamp block on it or whatever. Art glitter glue usually adheres pretty quickly, so I don't think we're going to have any worries, except right there where I didn't get glue all the way down. So let's just put a little bit more in there. And you want to make sure that it's closed tight, because this piece is going to be the piece that slides in and out, that makes your little door open. And if you notice, I don't know if you can see that, but see the little slit that was cut in right there? And then there's another one right here. That mechanism is going to go in behind. But before we do that, let's color first. And then after we color, we're going to pierce the hole and put our our stamp, our clock hands. I'll get it out right in a minute. Our clock hands on, because you want to do those before you put that mechanism in. And I'm also going to color that mechanism. I think it's a little too stark white to be hanging down like that. I like it colored. So we'll take care of that too. Another thing you could have done, you could have made this piece the same color as this. That would have been another option. But nevertheless, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab a brown, and I'm using my Nouveau markers. And this is in the natural brown. This is 461, one of my favorite browns of all. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to color and frame this up a little bit, just like that. Now I'm not going to make y'all endure the entire coloring, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to color this clock, and you can color your clock any color you want. I'm going to mix up some colors. I might try something different than the two that I had here. This one was on white cardstock and I colored everything on it. I used this particular ink on this one, but I like the way that one turned out. I like being able to put some color in the clock. So let me see what we're going to do with this one, and when we get back I'll have all my pieces colored, and then we can go ahead and proceed to put this together. We'll be back. Okay, we are back, and I have got my little clock colored, and this is all I'm going to do to it. I thought this was plenty, and it's very cute. And now I'm going to show you how to go from here. I'm going to use this little pad that's, actually I can use it as a punch tool, and I'm going to take my stylus, this one that has the picky end on it, and I am going to stick it right in the middle where the clock hands need to go. And once you get that hole pierced in, just kind of bore it a little bit to make it big as you need it. You want to be able to get a brad through. And I have these little brads, and these are in, they're in gold and silver and copper, and then there's some antique looking ones. And I thought maybe one this color, but you've got to get one of the smaller ones. The big one will not work because it's too big. When I say small, I mean this size. See how tiny that is? So this is the one that we're going to use, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and punch out the little pieces, because this, if you notice, is one big piece, and it actually has little holes in it. So I'm going to punch those holes out. And the die cut machine cut them, but it wasn't enough to take them away. So I'm just going to punch these holes, and it's a little tedious because it is small, but it's not bad. And once you get them all out like that, then you can take your brad and put it right in to that end piece, just like that. And then you can put that through your little hole that you made and turn it over. And you want to open this up and press it down as flat as you can get it. Now, I don't want to tape it or anything, because you want this to be able to change the time. If you wanted to change the time on it, you could turn this. I mean, you're only limited to what, you know, a quarter till or 20 till or 10 till, whatever, or after. But this is just a good way to make this a little bit more interactive. But I think I'm going to set it for quarter to 12. I like that. And the next thing we're going to need to work on is this, our little mechanism that's going to go in. And what you're going to do with this is you're going to feed it through this way. And if you notice these two little tabs on each side of that, see those little tabs right there? fold them in. They have score lines on them, so they will fold in very easily. You don't want to clip them off, you just want to fold them in, because you're going to open them back up once you get this through. But as you're bringing this through, check your little slot down here at the bottom, and this is where you want this to feed back through. And it should feed through fairly easy, see, just like that. And once you get it through, just grab it and pull it until that lines up just like that in front of your door. Then you're going to come back here and you're going to open those up, and that's going to lock that so that you can't pull it out. And that's exactly where you want to be with this. Now I'm going to pull mine up just a hair, because the hair is where you're going to want to adhere your door. And remember the other little piece that we did? I glued the bluebird on the back side of that. And these two doors are going to sandwich, just like this. So your little door is going to go on the front. So let's put some glue down and go ahead and get that glued on. And just bring it right down to the edge. Line it up. You want to make sure that it is lined up. And then just squeeze it to let that glue set. Like that. And now we're going to do the same thing with this piece. We're going to put glue on it. And we're going to glue it on the top. So right here under here, where the door goes down, this is going to be glued on top of that. And what that's going to allow is when this piece is pulled, see, normally it's going to be up like that and just, oh, look at that, a little wonky. You want to make sure that that all of your white is hiding behind the colored piece. That looks good. And then when you push this up, the little bird comes out. We do have a stamp where you could stamp in there, hello, or we could put another piece of white in there and stamp on it. But I think for right now I'm just going to leave that like that. I like just showing the birdie. It looks like a true cuckoo clock. And just like that. So now what we need to do is we need to put this piece on here, because this is our little pull piece. So I'm going to take and put some glue right there, and then I am going to just sit this on it. I probably should have had my little silicone mat out here for this, since I'm getting glue all over everything. So let me pull this out. There, that's good. Now we need to put these on. So these little pieces I want to hang right here, and then maybe one up higher on the other side, because these are only even, if y'all know anything about cuckoo clocks, these are only even at midnight and noon. So any other time they're moving up or down. So we're going to put them just a little off. What are you fussing about? My little girl is whining because Toby has a toy she wants. Oh, my little boogers. I love them so much. Alright, I'm going to put a dot of glue right there. And I'm going to lay this in it. Just like that. And then I'm going to put a dot of glue again. Right there. And I'm going to lay this one. Well, they are purple made this morning. How cute is that clock? Toby! Toby is my mouth. He barks, and Bella, she whines, but she doesn't really give a huge amount of barking. Okay, now this little cuckoo clock, we are going to put this up on dimensions, and I'll tell you why. You don't want anything that's going to hang this up. So, let's see if we can get that going on there a little bit better. That looks good. And see how easy it is to get the glue off of your little silicone mat? I love this. So great when you're working with glues to be able to. Now for some texture, I did cut these out, but I'm thinking that I want to put a piece of green on here. And then these, and then the cuckoo clock. So let me grab a piece of green. I actually do have a piece right here. Oh yeah, I love that green with the navy, and I think it's going to be really pretty with this. And then we're going to have these on top of it. These were just some circle die that I had. This actually came to me from Krista Cobb when she sent me Happy Mail. She had sent me a bunch of dies and stamps and all kinds of beautiful stuff. But this was in here like this. So I don't know what brand this is or where it came from. I just know I love it. So I used that because I thought this would make, I cut 2 of these out of the craft because I just thought it would draw some interest to our card. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to cut me a mat. We have an A2 size card, so we know that that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut this down 1/4 inch, and that's going to make this piece be 4 by 5 1/4. So I'll get my trimmer out. And I'm going to trim this at 4. I think my babies might need to go out, so let me let them out and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and where we left off at, I'm cutting a mat for this card, so it needs to be 4. Oh, I already cut it. I was wondering, why is that blade not cutting? Okay, 4 by 5 1/4, so right there. And this is going to get matted right here on the front of this card. Oh, I love that. I love a matted card. I think it just adds so much. So I am going to put some glue on this. And then we're just going to adhere it down to the front of this card, just leaving us that scant little border all the way around. Oops, I don't like the way that went down. Let's try that again. I'm going to grab my ATG and see if I can put some adhesive on this and get it down a little bit more even. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that looks better. I'm going to crease this down again. And now I wanted to put these little pieces for interest. Something like that. Or maybe... Sorry about that. My trash is picked up on Monday, so the trash truck's out there and he is having a hissy fit. Oh my goodness. Toby. Okay, I think like that's the way I want these to go. Alright, so I'm going to bring my little silicone mat over again. And I'm going to grab my little Nuvo glue pen. And I am just going to dab this glue. Now hopefully if I get my internet back, we had some really powerful storms to go through here last night. So I feel very blessed to have electricity this morning. So it was really kind of a wild night with all the storms. So I'm not complaining by not having internet. Yes, it's a little inconvenient, especially since we get our TV on internet like I told you earlier. I think I told you that earlier. But it's okay. My main concern is not being able to communicate with other people, although I do have my phone. I took it off of Wi-Fi so that I could get a connection on it. And I did call the cable company and who we have our internet through. And they said that we are experiencing high amounts of outages in my service area and that they're working diligently to get it restored. So I hope that means that they're going to be getting that back up pretty quickly. Well, I put that little mat over here and then I moved it out of my way. Not doing any good over there, is it? I'm going to turn this one around this way. And we're going to glue that down like that. I'm going to use the silicone mat to mash it down. Did work. That worked really well. Now we're ready now to put some dimensions on this, and I think it's going to go right here. How cute is that? Do you not love it? I love that little mechanism. I think it's so stinking cute, and the fact it's got the little arrow that tells you to push up, so that whoever gets this card will say, oh, this little card must do something. I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to put some foam dimensionals on the back of it. And I think I'm going to use my scotch. And I've got one piece already cut. So I'm going to put that piece there. And my scissors are out. Here they go. I'm going to cut another piece about that length. Hopefully this should be enough. I am going to cut this in two because, you know, you can get double duty out of this tape. I don't need a really heavy amount of it. I am going to put a piece up here, just like that. So let's cut this in two. A piece like that and a piece like this. And then we need another piece for in here. And that little piece only needs to be about that big. There we go. And then we're going to set this clock right down in the middle. Just like that. Now, how cute is that? And then you can just grab this and push it up, pull it down, push it up, pull it down. How cute. I love the way this turned out. Now, I do want to do a sentiment on the front of this card, but I need to decide where we're going to put it because we don't have a lot of space. So I am going to think this over, and let's see. Time to celebrate. Let's see. Miss you all the time. Time spent with friends is time well spent. That one's cute. Let's see what we can do with that one. This could be a card for anybody that you consider your friend. So let's see if we can do something with that. I want to get a piece of white cardstock, and I think we can make that work. Do I want it white? I think white's going to look too stark on here, so let's go with something a little less stark. Maybe I had another little piece of foam tape that was loose and it got stuck on my arm, so I got that back on my roll so I can use that next go round. I think I'm going to try cutting it on a piece of this. So let me see if I got a punch that I want to use. This is the fancy label, and I'm going to try punching it out and then see if it will fit. Let's see if this will fit on here. Yes, it will. Okay, we're going to use some VersaFine because y'all know how much I love my VersaFine for my sentiments. So I need a stamp block. I want to get this lined up nice and straight. And then we're going to ink up this little bad boy. I am going to stamp it on here first, just to make sure. Beautiful. And there we go. And now we can actually sit this. You know what? That's going to be too big. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it work. I am going to take my scissors and I am going to cut right here all the way across. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. And now it looks really, really crooked. But you know what? We're going to even it up. And that's still cute. And look, it's going to fit. And I'm going to glue that straight down because I want it to tuck right behind that little top of the clock. And I'm going to bring it up right to the edge of that green cardstock And I'm going to press that down and let it adhere. And there is our little card. Now all we need to do is put something on the inside, and I'm going to mat it in the green inside as well because I like the way that looks. So let's get our little trimmer out again. And let's look at this and see what we need to do here. Cut it down to 4. I'll tell you what, let's give us 5.5 this way. 5.5. And then we'll cut this piece to 4. That way we're not wasting a whole strip. And I also want to mat inside. Let's get this out again. I want white inside because I want to put a sentiment. So if we did that at 4, we're going to do this at 3 3/4 by 5. And then this is going to get matted right on top of this. And I'm not sure if I did this correctly. Let's see. This is 5.5. Did I do this at 5.5? I did, and it should have been 5.25. I messed up. That's okay. We fixed it. That's better. Yep, that's much better. Okay. And now I need to find a stamp that would give me the sentiment that I want for the inside. And I want something about friendship. So I am going to go and look in my stamps and see what I can find. And then we're going to adhere this to here. And then this little card's going to be done. And I think it's so cute. I hope y'all like this. Let me grab a stamp set and I'll be right back. Okay, I think I found the stamp set that I want to use. And this is from Good Morning Magnolia. And the journey of life is best shared with a friend. We'll get through this together. I think that says it all because what we're going through right now, let's just hope and pray that we all get through this together because we are living in some very trying times. And I am just so in hopes that things get better soon, and I'm sure all of you are. I'm going to put this up a little high, and I might even put this little magnolia in the corner. Let's see. Or maybe right at the top. Why not like that? Oh, I like that. And then you still got room to sign underneath. I like that. Let's go with this. And let's grab a big stamp block that it will all fit on. And I'm going to use my, oops, did I get that as crooked as I am? I think I did. Let's line this up on the grid and see if we can get it straight on our block, which will give us a better chance of getting it straight. I want it like that. Yep, that looks a lot straighter. Alright, let's ink it up. And look at that, there's a little piece of fuzz or something on my stamp. I'm glad I seen it because that would have made a mess on my paper. Now I found that the cling stamps ink up much better than the photopolymer. Don't get me wrong, I love my photopolymer, but these have a tendency to really ink well. I'm just going to put even pressure on this. I'm going to let it sit there on the paper so the paper can absorb the ink. I think that's one mistake that we make in stamping. We're too busy to stamp and pull it off. And that is beautiful. I love it. I'm going to set that over there for right now. And we are going to adhere this. And I'm not even going to color the magnolia. I'm going to leave it as is because I want that just to kind of have a little bit of brightness inside. So I'm going to grab my ATG gun again. You know, if you don't have an ATG, you can definitely use your art glitter glue, or you can use some snail, whichever you have. Lately I have really been reaching for the ATG. I just have really embraced it lately. It's just a quick, easy way to put some adhesive down that is like a dry adhesive, and it works really well for me. So, you know, use what works for you. That's what I say. And I've told y'all all the story when I first got this thing. I put it away in the cabinet and said I would never use it again. I was not happy with my ATG when I first got it. I was like, how in the world does anybody get a card on straight? And now it's my little go-to. How stinking cute is that card? Look at that. Oh my goodness. And good bird. I think this card came together so cute. I love the aspect of putting that little die cut circles in the background because they remind me of gears on a clock. And I really love it. I think it turned out very, very pretty. The sentiment with the magnolia, I really like this. So I hope that you like it, and if you are interested in getting the Cuckoo clock or Cuckoo For You stamp set and dies, or just the stamp set, it is available over on my Stampin' Up! Webpage. I will link that below. And if you remember, if you buy this as a bundle, you will save 10% on it. Now it is investment, but I love that I can store my stamps and my dies all together. So whenever I get ready to do this, I can go pull this stamp set, knowing my dies are in here with it. And that's one good thing about this. And I have been storing my dies just like that. When they come in, they're on a sticky backer, and I took that off and I adhered a piece of magnetic. These are those vent covers, and I cut it down to the size I need it. And I make sure I cut it down. Now these come in a beautiful plastic envelope. If you wanted to file your dies separate from your stamps, you can very easily do that. But for me, I like to keep it in the container. So any of my stamp sets that I have dies for, the dies are in with the stamps. I just love doing it that way. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this card, and I hope you were inspired to try something like this yourself. But I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank you for the love that you show me with every video I put up. Y'all mean so much to me. If this is your first time watching, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, and then you'll be notified when I put up a new video, so you won't miss anything. And if you have not subscribed to my Facebook page, go over, type in the search bar on Facebook, Random Acts of Crafting by Kathy Champion, and it will pop up, and you can go and request to join. We will get you approved ASAP, and then you can share your pictures of your creations there with the rest of us, and we inspire each other. So until we craft again, may God richly bless you in everything that you do. May He keep you safe in the palm of His protective hand, and let everything that you do and say bring glory to Him, for He is so worthy. I thank y'all all so much. I love you, and until we craft again, y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.